Salutations readers, welcome to or welcome back to my channel. My name is Nkechi, and for today I'm going to give you all my Blackoween TBR. If you do not know what Blackoween is a readathon, a month-long readathon taking place in the month of October that's hosted by Bree from Logical Fiction, where we read crime fiction written by Black and African authors. And this readathon takes place in this fictional place called Tulish Parish that is inspired by New Orleans, where Bree is from. This is the first year that the map has now extended to being 7 locations instead of 6 locations. And the idea of this readathon is that you accomplished searching through every single location, like reading the prompts and stuff for each location in the highest role, which is, yes, there are roles for this readathon. The highest role is Investigator through role, where you read 5 to 6 prompts at every single location, and then you achieve the title Grand Searcher of Tulish Parish. That is the ultimate goal of the readathon. However, come on, you do not need to be Investigator through role in all 7 locations within a month. Unless you are that ambitious, you can read that much and that fast within the month of October, then by all means go for it. But that's not the idea. The idea is to really do this throughout, like take this a while to actually do this. Like it's meant to take like a few years to get through all the locations, unless you're just that ambitious. Also, I will link down below in the video description the announcement video for any more questions, explanations, clarifications regarding this readathon. If you have, go to that announcement video, because I'm not going to go through every single thing here. Now, for some reason, even though this is my very first time actually officially participating in Blackoween, for some reason I want to be a little bit ambitious, just a little bit, and I want to be Investigator thorough in 2 locations, or at least I'm going to attempt it. Am I actually going to be able to achieve that? Child, I don't even know. I genuinely have no idea, because I pretty much have like 10 books I need to talk to you all about. And also, I already have these books either borrowed from my library, I own them, or I got them as ARCs. I don't really have room to be just moving things around like that, personally, as far as prompts and things. So that's why I'm really saying, like, let's attempt 2 locations. If I can't get through one, hopefully I can get the other. But anyways, the locations, though, that I plan to be Investigator thorough in are Bayou Haunted House and Saint Tremaine Graveyard. I figured to do with these ones because I do feel in the mood for something that's like kind of like ghosty, haunted kind of vibes. And also I feel as though I'm more interested in the books that fit for these prompts more than like the other locations. I am curious though about the other locations, but this one these 2, I think I'm like, you know what, I think I can actually be Investigator thorough this year anyways with these locations. So that's what I'm going to be doing with. So let's actually start getting to the prompts for the 2 locations. So for Bayou Haunted House, there are pretty much 6 prompts. 5 are specific reading prompts, and the 6th one is a free space. For the first prompt, it is to pretty much read a book that has like a possession story. And for this prompt, I've decided to go with Delicious Monsters by, I think, Lizelle Sambury. This is a young adult horror thriller novel that it came out last year. I've seen a lot of buzz for it since last year. I have tried to read Lizelle Sambury's debut novel. I didn't get really far into that one, so that was a DNF. But I am curious about this one specifically. For the second prompt, Ghost of Someone Who Resides Over the House, or a ghost story in general, I decided to go with The Spite House by Johnny Compton. I think this is his debut novel, right? I remember seeing a lot of buzz with this one. I think it also came out last year, or was it 2 years ago? I don't know, somewhat recent. I do remember this one being like a haunted house kind of story or something. Yeah, something about a haunted, it's pretty much like a haunted house story. And yeah, I've seen people really enjoy this one, so I want to try this one. I already have the audiobook for it. Same thing with Delicious Monsters. And then for the third prompt, a haunted house set in the South. I also have, this one I actually got as an e-art, and it's Model Home by River Solomon. So this is River Solomon's 4th novel. I've already read all of River Solomon's other novels, and this one is the newest one. It comes out October 1st. And the only thing I remember from this one, again, it's like, I think it's suburban. Yeah, it's like a suburban home horror of some sort. Yeah, it takes place in the American South. That's all I really remember what this book is supposed to be about from the top of my head from the synopsis. So yeah, looking forward though to reading that book. 4th prompt is to read a book with house or mansion, home estate in the title, or a structure that is haunted in the book. And I had to go with The Reformatory by Tanana Reeve Dew. I did try to read this book last year. I softly DNF'd it because I was not in the mood for the subject matter, but this time around I'm like, no, I really want to actually finish reading that book. I do own the audiobook for this one, so I'll be reading this book via audio. And this one takes place in, 1950s Florida? Yeah, we follow Robbie, who's trying to defend his sister from pretty much being sexually harassed, and he ends up being sent into, because he kicked like this white boy who was harassing his older sister, and he got sent to a reformatory school. So yeah, and it's also based on like Tananarive Dew's, I think, was it great uncle, I think. So yeah, it's a lot. It's a long book too, but like I know it's gonna be really, really good. Like I remember what I'm gonna be going into for that book, but oof, I actually want to finish that book. So that's what we got for there. And then for prompt number 5, read a book with like a medium or a spiritual leader. This one I kind of stretch a little bit because I wasn't sure this would fit specifically, but we shall see. I decided to choose Blood at the Root by Ladarian Williams, because I do know for sure this has to do with a black boy who realized that he has magical powers, and he does a lot with garden root magic, and I think there's supposed to be some sort of spiritual leader or something that's supposed to teach him, I think. I mean, I know he's in this magical HBCU, so like, maybe? I don't know. I'm not really sure. Also, I really am just curious about Blood of the Root because I have seen people really enjoy this one. I've seen people giving mixed reviews, and I've also seen people give some sort of particular criticism about the book that has led to a little bit of controversy. So I'm like, I want to see what I think about this book. It is a debut novel. It's the first book in a young adult fantasy trilogy. So I'm just curious to see what I would think about Blood of the Root. And also I pre-ordered this book, so I'm like, well, let me at least give this book a shot. And then for this free space, I decided to go with the group book. And yes, there is a group book for each location as well, at least for this year. The group book is The Icarus Girl by Helen Oyeyemi, I think. Yeah, I've never read anything from this author before, so I'm not really sure what it is about. But I do know that I do have the ebook borrowed from the library, so I'm gonna have a chance to at least read it. I generally don't really remember what it's supposed to be about, but I think it has something very haunted, like I think like a spirit or something. That's all I really know. I don't really know much else about this book in particular. Alright, so the next location, Saint Tremaine Graveyard. So this one I think is supposed to be a lot more murdery of the night, thrillery kind of vibe, murder thriller of the night vibes, and that's what this location really is. So yeah, very much haunting and ghosty, but like not like the haunted house. So for the first prompt, it is to read a book with of the night vibes. And I think I remember Bree saying like, oh, this just like maybe there's a creature of the night kind of thing. I don't know. This one it's a little loose as far as what to really read for this prompt, but I decided to go with Immortal Dark by Tejas Jerma. I think that's how you pronounce the author's name. I'm not really sure, but this is also a debut novel. It's the first book in a young adult fantasy trilogy, and I think we're following if I remember correctly, we're following a girl who wants to take revenge of the death of her sister against a vampire. So it's like in a vampire school, so it's dark academia, it deals with vampires. She'll do literally whatever it takes, and that's why I find it to be very, very interesting. Also, I did receive an advanced listening copy from Hachette Audio as well, even though the book came out on September 3rd, so I'm definitely late on this game. But hey, I also have a physical copy as well, which has really nice spread edges. It's really, really cool, not gonna lie. So yeah, I'm very much excited to at least start reading this book, and hopefully I will like this one. And prompt number 2 is to read a book where a deal is made. And I think this was a book that was recommended by Bree, and it is, even though I knew the end, by I think C.L. Polk. And the only thing I know is that I think this is a mystery novella, and it's sapphic. I think that's all I really know. And honestly, I don't think I want to know too much anyways. I already have the audiobook borrowed from my library, and it's very short. It's literally a novella, so I'm just gonna give this a shot. And then prompt number 3 is to read a book with like a murder that has like multiple POVs. And I went with, because I think this one's also recommended by Bree, and it's My Soul to Keep by Tananarive Due. This is the first book in I think the African Immortal series, and I'm like, huh, I've always been curious about this series in particular, so I want to at least give this one a shot. And then the fourth prompt is to read a horror or thriller book with body parts. And this one's actually a short story collection that I did not know about until I think also Bree recommended this one as well. And it's called Skinfolk Stories by, I am literally blanking on this author's name. What is this author's name? Nalo Hopkinson? I think I've heard of this author's name once, but I've never read anything by this author. It is short though. The short story collection is not very long. It's like a 9-hour audiobook, so I'm like, okay, you know, why not? Might as well just give it a shot. Then the fifth prompt is to read a book with ancestral knowledge, and got ourselves a repeat book. There is a rule as far as repeating, like using one book for more than one prompt. You can double up on books in more than one, and 2 locations. It cannot be more than 2 locations. You can definitely double up books within like a singular location. You can double up a book within 2 locations, but if you're trying to do it like a 3rd location, it ain't gonna work. So, Blood of the Root, I mean, I think it has to do a lot regarding ancestral knowledge, especially regarding root magic, so I think this book just fits that. And again, I'm just genuinely curious about Blood of the Root to see what I would think and feel about it. And the 6th prompt, again, is a free space, and I decided to go with a group book for Saint Germain Graveyard, and that is The Reformatory by Turn On and Redo. Again, doubling up on prompts, because why not? It's a main prompt for Bayou Haunted House, and it is the group book for Saint Germain Graveyard. I figured, you know what, why not? Just 2 birds with 1 stone with that. This is pretty much it now. This is my, well, these are the books that I have physically, but pretty much my entire TBR is literally just books that I'm borrowing from Libby. That's where my majority of my TBR is borrowing from the library. But I do at least have 2 books right here. But yeah, I am very much interested to at least get through these 2 books for my physical TBR and to read all these other library books. Thankfully, I do have a mixture of like some audiobooks and some ebooks. Some of them are a little long, some are a little short. And then of course I have my e-arc of Model Home. So yes, that is pretty much it, y'all. That is literally my entire Blackoween TBR. I'm actually very excited to participate this year. Thanks, Bree, for creating this readathon. I'm very, very excited. Like this video if you like it. Comment down below, are y'all, any of y'all participating in Blackoween this year? And if you are, please let me know which location you're going to, which location you're starting with. I want to know what the locations y'all are going to be doing. And, you know, if you're new here and you like this video and you want to see more of my content, I do recommend subscribing if you want to. And if you made it this far into the video, you don't have much else to say, but you want to let me know you're here, you can leave me a witch or even a black heart emoji. Or if you want to be a little bit specific, you can leave me a Tulish Parish specific emoji. And what I mean is that I have particular emojis that I'm going to leave here on the screen that corresponds to one of the 7 locations. I have there's like a child emoji for Ruby's Crew Park. I think I have like a book or even like an old building emoji for Joe's library. I have like a magnifying glass or a detective you could use for Noir Apothecary. As a very streetcar, anything to do with time, so the hourglass, a clock, a watch. Shishi's Kitchen, which is the new location. You can have any sort of heart emoji. For Bayou Haunted House, for the location I want to work in, it can be any house emoji. And for Saint Germain Graveyard, another location I want to work on, is you can do a gravestone emoji or like even a skull emoji or even a ghost emoji even. But anyways, that is it. That's all I have for y'all. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all in my next video. Bye.